Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to this week's edition of the Marketing Happy Hour. I hope you're all happy out there. I'm Dr. Christopher Vogelmann of the same name, drvogelmann.com, as well as Maximize Your Media, our digital agency. And with me, as always, is...
And I'm John Paduchak. I thought about taking over today when technology demon struck here.
little fluffy bastards.
Yeah. And so I'm John Paduchak, johnpaduchak.com. And of course, we've got Epic Win now, too.
Yes, Epic Win Agency is our joint venture. So I've got some joints in my hand, and John has joints, too. So we're decided to venture forth with our joints.
Yes. And yeah.
And with us down below, not because we don't respect him, but because he's arrived later to our broadcast over the last year, is...
Hello. This is Coach Kayvon Kay, and I'm looking at your domain names, and I reanimated my KayvonKay.com domain name with some little bit of a content over there. So that is there. But yes, Kayvon from simplified.zone, helping entrepreneurs finish their projects.
I like that, because remember, you're never alone with simplified.zone.
Hala.
Yes.
And I don't have, as well as the joints that you mentioned, there might be some other kind of joints around me as well.
Is pot legal in
Canada?
Pot's legal.
It's Canada.
This is BC, yes, pot's legal.
BC, baby.
Should have known.
We're in AD.
Yeah, speaking of that, just the other day, I don't know if it's legal or just like marijuana, or the pot, they are getting closer to it, but I saw a fungi store opened up near my place, and I went and bought some microdosing psilocybin pills.
A little psilocybin to make you silly.
Yes. So I have done microdosing before, and I'm back on it again, and so far so good. But this new brand too, I feel good.
The new brand. Do you have a brand name?
I'm sure there's a name on it, but I don't have it.
The silly psilocybin.
There you go. That could be a good one. Silly psilocybin.
Hey, so
today, you a fun guy.
Fun guy. I feel like I'm a fun guy.
Yes.
I used to go by Dr. Fun. Even on Twitter, it shows me the hashtag Dr. Fun.
There you go.
Now my computer's asking me if I want to clear out 3 gigabytes of storage. I don't think. Not right now.
Wow.
Not right now. My RAM is...
Timing is everything.
It's just like, like last week. Anyway, so this week we're going to be talking about mastering your filter. How to get to master your filter. And this came up as a conversation that John was having with several different people about filtering out the folks that you don't even want to start coming into your funnel. And so I put together just a couple slides or so, just so that we could stay on track for a change of pace. And so, off to keynote we go. Well, just at least to start the conversation. So let's see what we can come up with here today. Oh, that message is just trying to kill me there. All right, there we go. So we're talking about how mastering your filters. And I just put the tagline in here: why repulsion can be so very attractive to your bottom line. So
there you go.
Yeah. And so the idea, of course, we talked about on numerous occasions that if you try to be all things to all people, it'll get you nowhere, and nowhere at a rapid rate. And your typical marketing funnels goes from prospects to inquiries to applications to booking a discovery call. And then you probably eventually have sold somebody or enrolled them in a particular program. And I think all of us have done these from time to time. But when we're looking for stuff, we're often hunting for clues in the world and checking out the research. What's the competition doing? What's working? What's not working? And but we're all looking. Pretty much the myth is that we can somehow gather all these messages and press the easy button.
I see Kayvon looking for it.
That was easy.
That was easy. There we go. And I like to think also,
this.
It's great. I'm glad you have the props, Kayvon, because I don't have one of those. But then that passive income that you don't have to do anything to make a lot of money. You just sit back on your computer and the cash just rolls in. Instead of garbage in, garbage out, it's like message out, money in. And then this notion that you help everybody, when in reality, of course, we'll talk about this for a bit, that no, just say no to the notion you can help everybody, but that you help the right people at the right time, and then you just repel the rest. So anyway, so why do you think being repulsive can be so attractive?
Well, I was just going to start out with, I think it's funny that at the start, or most business owners, most people starting a business, they think they want everyone. They want to cast a wide net, where in reality, you don't want everyone. You want the right everyone's, the perfect everyone's for what you do.
I think grammatically, I want the right everyone's.
Yeah.
It's like I want to go to there.
So. Yeah, and I noticed that the thinking behind that is not that I want to help so many people. It's not that my program is good for, all sorts of people out there. I noticed that the main thinking behind that it seems to be a business reason, but one of those false assumptions that by narrowing down my audience or people that I talk to, I am going to say no to all the opportunities that they could have been there.
Yeah, but when they would really care less of who you are and what you're doing.
Yeah, and as you said that in one of the first slides and previous times too, if you're trying to help everyone, you're not helping anyone. Nobody's listening.
Right.
So in fact, by not repelling, being repulsive,
repelling,
repelling,
or
by
being
not
repulsive.
Repelling the people who are not right for you and your business and your offer, you are making you're creating more opportunities as well as serving people better.
Yep. I think that, part of the thing about the idea, I think, of I help everybody, it's like the chiropractic. It's like everybody with a spine is my patient. No, not necessarily. And I think that comes from the notion either you have this messianic vision that you save the entire world, or more likely you have this business vision that, it's more propelled by greed, that I have to get as many people as possible to get all their money as quickly as possible, because intentions sometimes are not necessarily the best when it comes to the online world.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it's more of a fear-induced greed.
Yeah, it's fear,
and it comes from not being clear. Lack of clarity creates that kind of a uncertainty and fear.
It's FIG, fear-induced greed. We have a new acronym, fear-induced greed.
And it's really the same online or offline. It's just it's a business thing in general.
Yeah. So the question is, how do you repel people before they even get to your funnel? And this will save you a lot of money too, because you're not going to waste all your money on ads. Well, one of the first things is your brand. Of course, some people may not like your purple logo or your particular font or your tagline. Some people actually might not like your profile photo, for example. It's like, oh my God, I never deal with people with goatees. Never, ever. Don't trust them.
Or people who stand in front of an RV or any of them.
Yeah, that kind of thing. Never want to do that.
None of that works.
Or it could be your voice saying, oh my God, he's got such an irritating voice. I couldn't listen to him for 2 hours at a time. Not going to work. It does happen. Yeah, it does happen.
So is that supposed to be me? I didn't get that.
No, this was not referencing anyone in particular, but I know that certain people, I remember way back when in my bachelor days, just if you heard a voice of a particular person, that would be a turnoff to dating. That's for sure. Mm-hmm. And so the difference is, of course, between resonance and the opposite, which is I absolutely can't stand this person. And that's, and if you can repel people, because we all want to be liked, we want to be loved, but the reality is in business, it's important to repel those people who really aren't going to become your raving fans.
Right.
I did this not too long ago. I sent out an email to my tiny list of doctors, my select ones whom I've known for 15, 30 years. And my headline was "Practice Sucks." What I was so surprised with was that only one person unsubscribed. So I knew these people really did resonate with me in that situation. And this is John was mentioning this today about video. Yeah.
Right. Because we do, we've been working for a while on a workshop where we help you attract your perfect customer with video, because I found it integral when I was doing more and more videos. I found that I was attracting more and more of the right people. And, it resonated with most of the people that saw my videos.
Well, I also like you mentioned how if you create some controversy, that can also filter people out.
Sure. Sure. But I did notice, I just, the comments I got, the more videos I did were, they liked how genuine I was, how I came across, very down to earth. And I had people coming out of the woodwork to work with me. So it works.
Do you ever notice on YouTube though, like some of my favorite videos, I think they're people that they're just hysterically funny or they're so insightful or whatever. And you'll see the majority of people give the thumbs up for the likes, but I'm always wondering who the hell are these people who give it thumbs down, especially if it's an uplifting mess.
Yeah. Or an angry face.
Or the angry face. Yeah. On the Facebook things. In fact, Troy gave us that not too long ago. I said, we don't care as long as you give us some sort of emotional reaction. And,
we did.
Troy McDonald gave us the angry face. So at least he didn't give us the finger. They don't have a finger emoji, which is really good.
It's something.
Yeah, it is something. So that's the thing we were talking about, that video can be controversial. You want to either have resonance or push people away, and then copywriting example. So the question is, do we engaging to attract or repel? Because we always think that if we engage with people, at least the notion, I think in most of our marketing, don't we tend to think that we're going to engage to attract people?
Yeah, and I don't think you engage to
purposefully repel.
Purposefully repel people.
Or maybe we should.
Sometimes you do.
You don't know, because that whole thing about friction, creating controversy, can sometimes get you noticed, and it helps you to break through all the noise and clutter on the internet.
Yeah.
Or just counterintuitive. I have a friend, and what he does is help people get over their writing blocks and start writing their book. So he has this short program, and in that program the whole idea is to just start writing something down, something that nobody's going to care about. Who cares? And you go over all of the bottlenecks, and eventually you can sometime later get back to or get started on writing your book. So that first program is called Write Your Worst Book Ever.
That's great.
Right? So after you do that, everything else you write after that is going to be better than that.
I love that.
I should do something like that. Do your worst video ever.
Your worst video ever. Yeah. Well, we have plenty of outtakes from our workshop promotion.
No, the funny thing is, see, the three of us, we like it very much. But we were having this conversation because he was also at the same time getting feedback that people don't like that word. Some people don't like the word worst in it. So he was wondering if he should change it or not. So I'm thinking, no, let's keep it there, because you repel the one that they're not right for your program, the ones that they get it.
But also the ones who don't think you're going to repel them. Because somebody would say, why is he saying this? As opposed to somebody said, well, I don't want to write my worst book ever. I'm ignoring this person.
And the whole point is to create intrigue.
Yeah.
So they read the next line and see what the point is about. So I like intentional filters, intentional repelling factors, and all of that, because at the end of the day, one of the lines that I really like that Dan Sullivan mentioned is, he said, we as a strategic coach or himself, he said, I do not want to work with people who need my services. I like to work with people who want my services.
Yeah. Yeah. So the desire has to be there.
Yeah. And you get better results. They get better results. It's a better relationships. So he has the processes in place. The very first thing is that question that he calls it the R factor. R standing for relationship, because not only you are helping them with some sort of a consultative selling and coaching and getting clarity on it, but you also listen to how they're replying. Do you want to have a relationship with this person? Is this person is ready to have a coaching, relationship with you or not? So I like filters like that.
So the R factor isn't something like a pirate, like the R factor.
Why not?
Could be. It could be. Yeah. It's funny you mentioned
not everybody is made for the pirate lifestyle, right?
Not everybody is meant to have a lot of swagger and a bottle of rum. Although, what are you drinking today?
Coffee.
Oh, so am I. John?
Water. Just drinking water.
There's water in my coffee, and as well as Kayvon's. So that's what we have in common. We've managed to find common ground on this
H2O factor.
H2O, baby. So I was listening to or watching a video today, and this was about coaching and about branding, and I thought it was really interesting. This particular individual was talking about that he likes to work with clients, potential clients, who have certain personality characteristics that he resonates with. And some of the qualities he liked, one of them was he wanted to work with people who have a strong sense of being stuck. I thought that's interesting because that they're ambitious, they want to do something, but they're stuck. And I think so that the unsticking of someone is easier than trying to infuse them with enthusiasm.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, some lead generation or marketing is around creating a problem, and some is around defining the problem that they already have. And I pretty much like the second one a lot better because, yes, we can go ahead and start to create a new disease or a problem. What's that disease that it's halitosis, right? That was invented.
Halitosis is a bad one.
Right?
I have one that I suffer from, which is called restless middle finger syndrome.
Yeah,
Only you can prevent
one of those two.
Yeah. I wanted to do the whole nonprofit and raise money, and I bet I could get money for RMFS.
I had this idea that I should write a book, which could be like a collaboration by many contributors. Yeah. I would call it the atrophied digitus. Because the finger I should have used a lot more, but I haven't been using it, so it's been atrophied.
Or it's the one that didn't move. It's the one. It atrophied. Forgotten finger. That's what the finger is suffering. That's where you don't want to put it in a brace, by the way. Just for record. So engaging, I thought of a couple different things that we do in terms of engagement. Right now we're doing live streaming, and I apologize. I actually can't see in the comment section because for some reason my whole screen is entirely Keynote. I didn't move it sufficiently. But live streaming is one of the things we're doing right now, and I think it's probably one of the most powerful things now. I mean, just think of all the Zoom calls and everything else that are out there because you get that interactive type of thing. We don't get as much interaction with live streaming as we do within, say, like a Zoom room. I mean, has that been your experience?
Yeah, because you're more in direct contact with people in a Zoom room with a bunch of people with you.
And what was that app? The app that we were playing with too. It was HiHo.video.
HiHo is interesting because you do get a lot of great interaction. It's built for the interaction, and it's a lot of back and forth. 5-minute videos each person can make back and forth. Yeah,
5-minute max, but a lot of them are like 30 seconds, 60
seconds.
Yeah,
a lot of them shorter. Yep.
And then comments. I mean, comments is the one thing that we really strive for in terms of engagement online, particularly because all those algorithms, they reward us tremendously for comments and shares. For God's sakes, shares.
Yeah.
If you get people to share your stuff, you're really going somewhere. Question is whether people resonate or not with you. That's like the personality characteristics. So the question is, who do you really want to work with? Who do you like working with? So the video that I was watching today, the gentleman was saying he likes to work with positive people because he likes to be around what he refers to as non-complainers.
I remember a story that our friend and coach Rich Sheffrin shared many years ago, that at one point he looked at his business, and at the time he was looking at the hypnosis business versus online coaching and that sort of thing. So imagine that there is a room filled with every client you ever had. So for some people it's dozens or hundreds or thousands, and would you want to be walking into that room? Like, is it going to be filled with people who are disappointed and angry, or happy to see you because you helped them and served them and that sort of thing? So I think that's a good factor. If everybody I ever sold something to or served or was a client, if they were all in the same room, would I want to be walking into that room or not?
It's interesting you mentioned that because many years ago, so I've got about 13,000 plus, I think, patients under my belt. And I many years ago, this was like within the first 2 years of being in practice, I hired a consultant, and he did a lot of marketing consulting for Fortune 5,000 companies, Fortune 1,000 companies. And he surveyed my existing patient base, which was pretty small at the time. And he said that overall, on the very positive side, I had like a 72% positive rating. And I was just like, oh my God, that's horrible. I mean, how come it's not much higher than that? What's wrong? What's wrong? And I think it's because by the way, so I was marketing to everybody, by the way. If you had a spine, a pain, and a working credit card, you were my patient. And so, but he said that was actually really good, because this was back in the early 90s. He said 72%, there's a lot of Fortune 500 companies who would love to have 72%. But to me, I was so incredibly disappointed that it wasn't 100%. So I think my expectations were a little too high.
Well, 100% is too high, but at the same time, this is a one-to-one kind of an interaction. The percentages shouldn't be compared to Fortune 500s.
No, and in fact, but the thing about it was that he actually he maintained that, being at 72% was far above average that most of the clients that he worked with, which I thought was interesting. But once again, it's like looking at the number of thumbs up versus the thumbs down. I was so focused on that 28% that I couldn't get that out of my head. Like they were neutral or unhappy.
Yeah. So I'm curious to know this personality characteristics that we have on the screen. What are some of the characteristics that each one of you is looking for in a client?
I really do want them to be positive and willing to listen. Like they're willing to listen, willing to follow through in terms of advice, if not directions, at least to give them a framework that they can utilize. And I think I actually want them to be a little lighter in life, so that they have a little bit of a sense of humor, and that they can at least appreciate a very quirky sense of humor like yours truly, because I'd rather laugh and have a good time and have fun in business than to be so dead serious and, solemn.
Right.
Right.
Are there characteristics that they are deal breakers, absolute no-nos for you?
Yeah, if they're super complainers, that's a deal breaker. You're out of here.
Yeah.
I had the same thing, complainers, blamers, and justifiers.
I had a complainer blamer who was an NFL star, and I booted him out of the office. He came back though, like 3 days later, kind of like with his tail tucked between his legs, and filled out all my paperwork. But at first he wouldn't fill out any paperwork or do anything. He was with do you know who I am? And I said, no, not really. He said, well, I'm so-and-so. I played with the Washington Redskins for X number of years. I said, well, I'm a Buffalo Bills fan, so I really don't know who you are.
Must have loved that.
He was so surprised that somebody in the local Washington, D.C. area wouldn't bend over backwards and do whatever he wanted them to do.
And as a Bills fan.
And when there's a Bills fan, that's even worse for him.
You shouldn't have said that.
I shouldn't have said that. But then
no. He's thinking like, I shouldn't have said that. He's gonna, I'm gonna be under his.
He came back because I was highly recommended to him by I think 2 or 3 people, and so, but he did come back, which was interesting too, because he still had the problem and nobody else could fix it. So, John, what are some of the personality characteristics that you look for?
Well, I was gonna say I like it when people kind of get what I do. I don't have to explain to them or argue with them about what next steps are, which kind of follows along with what you were just saying. So that's one.
Anything else, Kayvon? What are your things?
I like people who generally have the attitude of rising up to the challenge. Stuff happens, and they are the kind of people that they don't flee, they don't fly. They come back and say, you know what, I got to fix this. I'm going to take care of this. They take responsibility for their life, basically, good or bad. And as long as they are not complainers, blamers, or justifiers, everything else, that's what I'm here for, to help you, put you on the right track and get you unstuck and all of that. But I cannot be fighting with you, the client, with complaining, justifying. So the problem should be the problem, but we should be a good match. Does that make sense?
I think there's a certain amount of compliance too. Like, for me, I mean, and it doesn't mean that, they're going to bend to your will and become the image and likeness of you. It's just that you give them advice and they'll comply with it. Like patient compliance. If I tell somebody to stop drinking that quart of whiskey every day and they don't do it and they still have stomach problems, I can't deal with that person because there's no way I can possibly fix what's wrong with them because they weren't interested in remolding one of their bad habits.
Yeah. Another thing that I have learned from my mentor is, and this is one of my rules when we start a relationship, a coaching relationship, that nobody's allowed ever to start any sentence with yes, but.
Yeah, but is my least favorite word, even when I hear it from my teenager, because to me, but is the acronym for behold the underlying truth. So somebody tells you, "I love you," but
Here we
ignore
go.
what came before the but.
Yeah. And that's the point, it negates everything that came before. So
Yeah.
they come to you with a problem and you go through this whole process of diagnosis and trying to help them and
Yeah.
clarify things and all of that. And every step of the way is yes, but. It's like you're dealing with someone who's trying to prove why he or she cannot be helped.
Well, and I had that with the weight loss clinic. So the weight loss clinic actually exceeded the revenue of the chiropractic clinic, which surprised me because I thought the chiropractic clinic did much better for pain relief than the weight loss. But people pay for vanity,
Yeah, they do.
they want to look good as opposed to necessarily feel good. It's like the old Billy Crystal thing on Saturday Night Live. You look marvelous. I'd rather look good than feel good.
Yes.
And so it just struck me that people would say things like, I want to lose 20 pounds, but I love eating my ice cream every night.
Yeah. See that there is that yes, but again.
The yes, but.
Yeah. I got that problem.
I heard Tony Robbins on one of his tapes many years ago, CDs many years ago. He said people who say but a lot usually have a big one too.
Oh, it's probably true. I hate to say that, but.
Possible.
It just fascinates me though, how we will tend to attract the people either who are the most like us. Although, in the case of a doctor, it always was curious. People say, "Oh, I only want to surround myself with positive, healthy, uplifting people." But when you're involved in healthcare, you're going to attract people who are sick and who need help. And sometimes they're just cranky and angry because they're in pain. And as they get out of pain, their personality changes back to something that's far more pleasant to deal with. So, and maybe that's the same in coaching for you, Kayvon, with some of the people who come to you when they're super stuck and you implement something.
And being in pain. Well, we're talking about medicine, so I
or emotional pain or whatever it turns out to be.
So dealing with patients when I was working as a physician, if the patient has fever and pain right now, that is going to impact everything. Remember the last time that you were sick, the light bothers you, the noise bothers you, everything bothers you. And I turned to a nasty person, right?
They bother me.
So, or my girlfriend, she always talks about that she gets hangry.
Yeah, hangry.
So when she's hungry, she gets
plummets and your temper increases.
So those physiological or chemical things, we should consider them. But beyond that, there's so much of it is attitude, point of view, choices that they make. Those are the things that we should be working with.
I'm sorry, I'm just scheduling the Clubhouse group. I forgot to do that.
Well, this is now a good time to announce that in about 30 minutes.
Talking about attracting people.
Yes.
So personality characteristics are part of the story. And the question is, who do you enjoy working with? I enjoy working with mothers, 40-year-old mothers who are, of 2 children whose husband works as a lawyer. That could be what turns out to be. Or, as we said earlier, I enjoy positive people, or people who are compliant, or people who will follow directions, or people who at least think about making a change.
And just like how we went about this, it's an easier way to start with who I do not want to work with.
Yeah, that is easier. Yeah.
You start with that, and the process of elimination, just like the funnel that you had at the beginning, it helps us to get us to people that we want to help, and we can help.
Yeah, and I think that's probably the most important thing, is really because most people really don't know what they want if you just ask them. But you can get them to do it through the process of elimination as to what they don't like or what they don't want.
Correct.
And I think that's you think about that in terms of like even some of the stuff like law of attraction work, where it's the contrast that creates the opportunity or the answers to make improvements. Or as Ryan Holiday would say, the obstacle is the way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Contrast always creates clarity. I have
That's a lot
noticed
of
that I
C's.
learn the most when there's a contrast.
That's true. That's true. And so then the real question too is also, when you're looking at gathering people and repelling the wrong ones, what really makes you happy? What are you after? Are you going to be resonating with those people? Are you around the people who you're enthusiastic about helping? That's the question to a certain extent. And that's the end of my slides. So I'm going to slide on over and we can continue talking here. Let me get over there. Come here. You can do it. I believe in you. There we go. Boom.
There we go.
There you go.
Sorry, still working on the clubhouse.
That's all right.
Yeah.
I was going to say too, I often like to look at it from another perspective, and that's what do my clients expect of me? And that often helps define a more perfect customer for me as well, because, you know, I like to think that they expect me to be well rested, to give them all my attention when I'm working with them, be generous with them in a lot of ways. You know, I mean, I'm sure you guys have things like that you would like them to expect of you as well.
Yeah, it's that whole initial conversation that,
Yeah.
you know, the introduction or clarity, or some people call it triage, that the purpose is not to sell. The purpose is to see if we're a good fit.
Yeah.
I like the triage, like clear. Sometimes it does take a shock. Yeah. Hit them with the paddles once or twice to get them to pay attention. But I think that's, you know, the people who show up, who show up on time, you know, they always talk about folks who play full out. But I think if somebody, for example, skips your calls, or they always make an excuse why they can't come to an event, or especially when you've scheduled your time and they don't show, it better be a damn good excuse, because I would have no trouble firing somebody and giving back their money. Yeah,
I have a 3-strike rule.
You know, no foul balls.
Well, if they cancel or they don't do what they were supposed to do, and there is no good reason for it, strike 1, then strike 2, and after that, okay, good luck, bye. Do
you refund them?
What's that?
Do you give them a refund for what remains?
Depends. Many times, no, there isn't a refund, because our agreement at the beginning is that our relationship is based on you doing your part.
Right. Right. It has to be reciprocal.
Yeah, but there has been situations that I made a refund because I tried to be as fair as I could be, and if I could detect, you know, maybe I could have done better here or there, then. I never had a full refund, but partial refund, yes.
Yeah. So how do you avoid those people? I guess you really don't know. To get the filter, do they have an application process to filter out the folks who?
Yeah. Well, filtering an application, like for example, on a smaller or bigger level, like one is on my calendar appointment, there are 3 simple questions. Whether they answer that or not makes a difference. There is a quiz that sometimes I send to people, and they have to go through it and provide answers. And for somebody who doesn't want to take 10 minutes or 5 minutes to go through an application process or answer the questions or take the quiz and just all of that, that already tells you who are you dealing with at what stage of their life. Because many times just wanting something is not enough. Wanting something right now makes them qualify to get started to work with, because there are many situations that I myself, or all of us, we want many things, but only for so little number of them we're ready to act and work on them at this time, and they are not a someday in future 2 years from now project. And if it's like that, well, let's talk again then. But if it's a timing is working right now, then let's get to work.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I think sometimes I've gotten over my head in some of the coaching programs that I joined. I wasn't ready, but they took my money anyway.
Yeah. Well, just in case versus just in time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So many of our purchases, coaching, and I have been guilty of that many times over, or books and that sort of thing. It's there just in case, or when I get to that stage, or when I'm ready for that, then I have this. And by the time I get there, that thing is either, you know, invalid or expired or irrelevant or that sort of thing.
I have some software and some programs that I've gone back to that I purchased just like maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and the sites are gone.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's a little scary. John, you've had a lot of it. Yeah, they're out of business, or they just moved on to something completely different, a different business model.
Right. So. Or they just disappeared for other reasons.
Yeah. So John, how do you filter
an example
people?
Of that?
Well, yeah, which one? I mean, like there's some pieces of software that were designed for creating easy webinars, for example, or evergreen webinars where you log in and you can't even get to the site because the URL no longer exists. Or it was an app. And
sometimes people move things over time and you just lose track of where it moved to.
Yeah, and you just have to find out where they've gone. So sometimes, somebody I know I have several people who've actually moved from one membership site to another, and they've carried you over into the next site and given you the login credentials if you, or if you have to ask for them, where is this now? So,
right.
Or at the same time, maybe if you move from, I don't know, this to Kajabi to Thinkific,
that type of thing.
Don't transfer people, but only ones that they ask for it, because this is another way to filter.
Sure.
People,
because he was paying attention. I pinged somebody who I purchased something from in 2018, and they said, well, wait a minute. Oh, so 3 years later you're coming to me? So I was guilty in that situation.
Yeah.
But still, you would expect at least a friendly reply as opposed to who the hell do you think you are sort of thing. So, because after all, you wind up paying them money, and whether there's appreciation for that or not is another story. So,
yeah, makes sense. I've been on both sides of the equation.
Yeah. So John, what are your filters? Do you have any sort of a thing, like if somebody, you mentioned earlier that if they at least have an understanding of how important video is, so you don't have to sell them on the importance of video?
Yeah, I'm just going to get the idea of, how I'm different in working with it is always a good thing. It's a good
How are you different?
How am I different in working with it? Well, I try to keep things very, very simple, very down to earth. I try to show people how to not do a lot of overly massaged, overly edited video, and just kind of get their point across in a very simple, straightforward way. So that's one of the big ways I'm different.
So if you have somebody who is, do you ever filter out people who maybe have a lot of experience in video and think that they know it all?
Not so much. I like people who have more experience versus people who have too little.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of nice if they've had maybe some experience, but I do work with people who have really had very little experience, or they have, one of my 4 fears. That's a challenge for them.
Can you enumerate those 4 fears? Because it's always good to hear them again.
Yeah, people who are afraid of getting their face out on video. They're afraid of the technology. They're just not quite sure what to say. They're not quite sure what to say. We're going to lose it. I lost it.
I did not mean to put you on the spot. I just remembered the fear of it was the technology, the fear of not knowing what to say, or
the fear of not knowing what to say,
the fear of not knowing what to say, or the idea that they don't know how to integrate it into their business structure.
Well,
that was 3 out of 5.
That was good.
I'd like to add something to that. I had a call about video production with John.
Yeah.
Was it last week, John?
A couple weeks ago.
Or the week before, yeah.
So what the main thing that experts, people like John, and this was the case with our conversation too, more than what to do and how to do it and all of that, helping us and saving us from what not to do.
Right.
Because there's some experience with video, all of that comes to the picture. I'm sure I can do some stuff by myself, but having John at my corner helps me to avoid those common mistakes or what not to do and that sort of thing. So I think that's a great value that somebody like John, and in this case John, provides to the clients.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, it's funny when I meet people to do their video, it's not necessarily so much the video alone that's a challenge for them. It's kind of like the cobbler whose kids have no shoes. They don't have their social media stuff set up right, and so that's why we changed our branding, because social media and video go so tightly together now. And there's a lot of other factors behind it. It's not just the video; it's how it fits with everything else that you do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now, speaking of video, and also attracting the right people, repelling the wrong people, there is this feature on LinkedIn that you can add a short video, 30 seconds, I think, or 1 minute, to your profile as an introduction. So can you think of some tips to, repel the wrong people, attract the right people, and do good on video? Put you on the spot.
I got to think about that a second. Well,
Okay.
there's actually room to put a couple of different videos. It's not just one small one. You can have more videos in your profile, and then
I think this is the one that they get when they click on your profile picture.
okay, so it might be something that's
So like a trailer.
Sounds
or
new to me. Yeah.
yeah, because I know there's a place to put more. I think anything, even just an introduction, Kayvon, of this is who I am, this is what I can do for you, as opposed to this is how
How great,
I am.
how great I am.
Yeah, because nobody wants to hear that. People want to hear, hey, what's in it for me? What can you do for me? And that's what I love so much about when Dean wrote my profile on LinkedIn. Because what I would do, I think, if I were going to do a video like that, is go through exactly those 4 things. Because when we did it with a group of people, it resonated so much with that group, and they were all like throwing in, "Hey, yeah, you got to make sure you say this. I totally get you." So it was like I had a crowd-funded, group supported profile creation.
Oh, the crowdsourcing.
Yeah, crowdsourcing.
Hey, people pay you money to write your profile. That's even better.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, that kind of stuff I think is good. I was saying to Dr. V today, I met my wife through a video dating service. And at the time, you would go in, you'd look at the profiles, and you'd say, oh, I really think this woman is great. I'd like to meet her. I'd like to meet this one. I'd like to meet that one. But whenever I went and then looked at the video, the profile was a great start. But the minute I looked at the video, that was, oh my gosh, her voice is crazy. It's like so high pitched, and it would drive me nuts to listen to it. There was an appetizer? Oh my gosh, there was tons of that. and it's all these different things, and you just go, but then, I remember looking at my wife's video, and I'm like, yeah, I totally resonate with that. And I think that's one of the things that really got me into video and attracted me to how important it was in making a life decision like this, because it was a life decision. And I think that's what really attracted me to it. And that still sticks with me today. And I talk about it frequently. It's kind of like my story about video that I try to portray to others, my little metaphor in life. And it's so important. It doesn't really matter what you say to a certain extent. You're going to say the right thing to the right people, and it's going to resonate with them.
I'm wondering about those who repelled you. What were those characteristics? Like a voice or
it was all
inflection.
It could have been like a voice. It could have been like an inflection. It could have been them talking about something that just was like a kind of sudden turn off.
The 12 nose rings.
It could have been any number of things. Some of it was appearance. Different little odd things, and I'm like,
blinking too fast.
Yeah, it's like anything. It's a total package that catches you.
A tiny package.
Yeah, I come with these packaging things.
That's
great.
Not a safe topic on the conversation.
I mean, we're not going to talk about the tight little package.
No,
that was my misinterpretation of what John was.
That is your misinterpretation.
That was my misinterpretation.
Somehow we always have misinterpretation.
Yes, we do. Misinterpretation 2021. It's like the Miss Universe. Misinterpretation.
This guy.
Yeah.
Hey. So where are we on time? Oh, yeah. Pretty good. We got more time to talk about this. I was afraid we were running out of time, because this topic really fascinates me in terms of not just attracting but repelling people. So, for example, if you were to have a bunch of people coming to you who were into the who just were searching for the make money online niche, so to speak, is your desire to attract these people or to repel them?
Well, just that for me is not enough, because there is make money online, or make money online quick. Second one, no.
Where's that button?
Yes,
where's that button? So it's like,
well, there's also make money online by jumping on the backs of others, and that is something that I found in that whole category that is very repulsive.
What do you mean, where they use some other book title and try to get authority that way, or no?
No, it's more like the people who just aren't nice with other people. They misinterpret their product and what they're doing.
So they're
Yeah.
sleazy
Users and abusers.
Yeah,
users and abusers. Yeah.
yeah, they really
Users.
are, and there's been more and more of that. And sometimes
Yeah.
that's an area that's very unscrupulous. Not, and a lot of us came originally from. I mean, I know a lot of people who originally came from working in that area. I mean, when I first came online, yeah, I was trying to make money online. That was an area that attracted me to, working online and trying to develop things. But it's become a much more. It's like a group that kind of predates on each other.
Well, the only reason I was saying that is because somebody who searches for make money online probably has no clear vision of what they want to do. And so they're at such an early stage. The question is whether or not you could actually help them because, they know absolutely nothing.
It's fine to not have a clear vision, but it's not fine not to actually seek a clear vision. Right?
Yeah.
Make money online, give me an answer, give me the button. Not acceptable.
Yeah.
I want to make money online. I don't know what to do. I need help.
Or I don't want to work, but I want to make a lot of money.
Well, sure, good. Yeah, I have a $20,000 package that I can sell to you. So
cool. I have $120,000 package.
Yeah, buy now. Buy here. Press this button.
Oh, we all have those things. I mean, if you really looked into a done for you business idea, creating someone a business, it could be up there.
Well, look at a franchise. It's over $1 million to get a McDonald's franchise. So you need to put money forth to get it. I think that's one of the good and the bad is that because it's so easy to get online and use technology, it makes it very easy to start a business. On the other hand, that's also a bad thing because almost anybody can come online and start something with a funnel, with a website, and pretend to be an authority when they really don't know how to deliver the goods.
Sure. I mean, and there's a lot of moving parts, that's why companies hire people that are specialists in certain areas and pay them a $50,000 to $100,000 a year salary.
Mm-hmm. And that's,
I remember in the early days of internet becoming popular, this was back in 2000 or so. So Google was not a search engine yet. Alta Vista and Yahoo and all of them were. I was working in an SEO company, and because it was internet and there were so many people on it and the research engine, so many of our clients had the expectation of, okay, we hire you, a search engine optimization company, and you press a button and tomorrow I get 15,000 people visiting my website.
There's still a lot of that going on.
Unreasonable expectation. Yeah.
I know a lot of people with unreasonable expectations.
Or you get unfiltered traffic where, like, I had a like campaign I did years ago to my Dr. Vogelmann profile on Facebook, and I got people from Egypt, Nepal, Pakistan, and other places who weren't going to be my buyers. They weren't anywhere close to my ideal clients, but it made my page look really good. So I had like 18,000 people, and I tried to reduce that number, as I've mentioned in a previous broadcast, but Facebook stopped me at about 12,000. They wouldn't let me delete any more people.
Yeah. Have you seen those like farms?
Like farms?
Yeah. You see them on little YouTube or Instagram videos that usually it's in somewhere like China. So there is hundreds or 200 cell phones over there.
I know.
And there are these little robots with a thing that they just press the button on the phone, just like that, fast. And on somebody's video, you can see all of these hearts and stuff is coming up as if so many people are looking at it. But it's a table of 200.
They have software to do that too.
What's that?
Oh, there is software that does that.
I know a guy. In fact, we were on one day, and a guy that I know was using his software to do that with us.
I remember that. It's John makes an innocuous comment, and suddenly there's 1,000 hearts coming up.
and angry faces and
angry faces. The whole thing.
You get the whole gamut because software just doesn't make any. They just.
I did my first snort of the broadcast.
Randomly pushing the buttons. Yeah, that's pretty funny. So we're watching all the stuff like blowing up all of us. That's pretty wild.
It was pretty wild.
Yeah.
So, are there any other ways that you can think of filtering? I mean, the colors that like Kayvon, what if somebody hates orange? I mean, they're orange. You unhappy about that?
You're not the right person for Kayvon.
You're not the right person for Kayvon.
Well, it depends why they hate orange.
Ah.
If there is a good reason, they
I'm
stand
allergic
up
to
and they take
oranges.
responsibility for their life,
They take
then we are a
responsibility.
match,
We're
right?
a match.
They don't have to love everything that I do, but they
True.
have to be intentional about it.
Yeah.
Got
But
You might spell something wrong and somebody might not like it.
and
I was just thinking if they see that little umbrella drink that's over there in the corner and they don't like it, then they're probably not the right person for the marketing happy hour.
and for people who don't like orange, I hate to see accidents happen to them. So
I hate to see you go.
Want to convert the heathens.
Don't hit yourself with the internet door on the way out.
Oh man! So
I feel a disturbance in the force.
Yes, I feel a ripple in the force.
This is kind of a touchy conversation to have, really, about marketing. But it's funny, like over the last couple of weeks, I think we've really been talking a lot about marketing and your avatar, and attracting the right audience. And marketing is a filter. It's a good, positive, negative. It filters the right people
and
in.
it's an endless series of experiments as to which filters you're putting in there and how well it works. You've got the coarse. It's like, think about it like water treatment plants. They have the very coarse filters, like a grate that stuff is moving through. Then they get finer and finer and finer until you're getting into these microscopic particles and bacteria and other things, like in reverse osmosis. And I mean, the question is, how many filters do you want to put in place when you're putting out your marketing message?
That's an interesting one. Was it on this? Was it with you guys that we were talking about the 1,000 true fans concept?
Mm-hmm. It was,
right. Yeah. So it's like this. This is like a personal development advice that it says you can have everything you love as long as you let go of everything that you don't. And letting go of things that we hate is easy, removing those from our life. Things that we don't like, still, we can do it. But realize, if you're going to say yes, it's a hell yes for the things that you love. So the things that you even like or like a lot, they also should get a no, right? So the true fans, the filter should be very, very tight. So things that I hate, things that I don't like, and things that I like, they all get nope, not part of my focus. Only the things that I love. It's the same approach that Marie Kondo had in her book. If it doesn't spark joy, it has to go.
So this mug was given to me by my sister. It's chiropractors are manipulative. What I don't like is that it's fading. So I may have to get rid of this. And Michelle, if you're watching, I'm sorry. But you can always order me a new one.
Michelle, if you're watching, send him another cup.
Another one. Faded mugs. Faded mugs do not bring me joy.
The other thing I was thinking of as we were going through this, it's surprising how easy it is to advertise to the right group of people and attract your perfect audience. Because if you already have a perfect audience, it's easy to set up and look for a lookalike to that on Facebook and YouTube and many of the other advertising services. So it's easy to track more of what you like, which is also
what about like iOS 14 and the inability to track people as well as before? You were telling me there was something about tracking IP addresses instead with display ads.
That's what they're talking about.
Okay.
I don't follow all the details of it, but
okay. I just thought that was an interesting way around not being tracked by cookies.
Yeah, I'm sure Facebook is going to come up with other ways to do that too, because
they don't want to lose the
whole segment of customers that they're going to lose that have iPhones.
Yeah. That's not going to be too happy about that.
No. So I'm sure a lot of stuff will change because of that.
For some reason, John is sending me a message. It's a latent message.
So the Clubhouse is ready to go in 5 minutes.
The Clubhouse thing is ready. Yeah, it's out there. I'm gonna put the link underneath here. I mean, it depends on where you are. I'll copy the link. I put it in the comment section here.
Let's see. I'm looking at on our chat.
This is it. But I'll list it as an actual. Actually, no. If you click on that, you're going to find it. I just have to put it in a few more locations rather than just in my name. I think I was going to try and put it in the marketing happy hour too.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
So anyway, but I'll stick that under there, and people can join us in at the top of the hour, which is about 4 minutes from now. In fact, maybe we should end this broadcast and then.
So why don't we just repeat the topic that we're talking about, the name of the room again?
Oh, the name of the room is "Don't Drop Your Cell Phone."
Oh,
Name of the room. It is Master Your Filters to improve your marketing.
alrighty.
Ooh, there it is. I can finally get it right. There's not as much glare there to do it like there.
Yep.
You can see that Dr. Kayvon Kay and John Paduchak are both in there with me. And if one of you takes over, then you'll have to make the rest of us, a moderator.
I will not take over.
Sure, no problem.
We all have control issues.
I like to have control.
Yeah, I know you do. So when it
Yes,
comes
I
to
can see it.
when it comes to filtering, do you want to work with people who have control issues? That's one of your filters.
Yeah, that is definitely one of my filters.
That's definitely a filter. Yeah. I mean, and I've seen that in practice too, where the patient completely takes over and wants to run the whole program. Sure. And those are the people I would kick out. I would actually fire a patient, which people say, how can you fire a patient? It's easy. You say, I don't think that you're really happy here. Perhaps we can find you another place to take care of you.
Yes.
Yeah,
do it as nicely as possible. So
yeah, that's a funny
dynamic.
Yeah, I was thinking the same word.
Yeah, thank you. It is a funny dynamic because I know many times in medicine, especially, I've worked with doctors who are kind of like, no, that's not what's going on. I don't buy that. And then I've worked with the ones that are really kind of like, wow, you figured a lot of stuff out. I mean, you just need a little help getting the rest of the way.
And that's a very collaborative relationship.
It is a very collaborative relationship that you don't usually have in the medical profession. I just happen to have a couple of physicians that I work with that are like that, but it's very unusual, and sometimes it's a off-putting type of scenario. Very unusual, but we have that too in what we do.
In terms of control, I'm already in the room.
Nice. Yeah.
Well, you're the man.
I'm the Vogelmann. All right. So we will be back. We hope that this has been very helpful to you. If you have any other questions or comments, please put them down below this video. We are actually on the Tube of You. We are in the Book of Faces and in various places, and even on Twitter, because I know some of you have found us through Periscope, which is just amazing to me to this very day. Any parting words?
Just looking forward to continue the conversation on Clubhouse. Yep. Come over there, bring your questions, bring your wisdom, and let's make it an interesting conversation. We are enthusiastic about it. Enthusiastic because we like working with enthusiastic people. All right. We'll see you again next week, and we'll see you over in the Clubhouse. Bye-bye.